And so some of the things we make sure that we do before we leave is we take before photos and after photos.
Very smart.
We send them to the customer if they're not home, and we let them know how things went. If there was any damages done, if anything that we notice that needs to be repaired, we're communicating that inside of our system, letting them know. And then if they're home, we walk around them on the property to make sure they're happy before we leave.
What system are you using for that communication?
Yeah, so there's a company called Company Cam, which helps out with the photos and the communication. And then your CRM can also integrate with Company Cam, which for us is House Call Pro.
Gotcha.
And so between all of that integration, it helps us have clear, constant communication.
So you have a trailer initially when you got started.
Yeah.
You start landing some big jobs, but you don't go in full time. Let's talk about why that was the case for you.
Well, it wasn't an easy decision because you're constantly measuring whether or not it's time to leave your full-time job
Right.
and to start working on your side hustle. But for me and my story, it made the most sense to build a team while I still had a safety net. And it allowed me to do something that I would encourage a lot of our viewers to do. And it's basically use the money that you're making to pay yourself to fuel the growth of the company. And so we fueled the marketing, and then I paid my guys to end up scaling to a $2 million company.
That's incredible. What were you doing on the side as well, or as a main job? What was feeding you and putting food on the table?
Yeah, great question. I was a student pastor at a church. I actually have a background for 22 years of working inside of the church walls. And so I had a good job, ended up a lot of fulfillment. And so I didn't necessarily have to leave the job. And so I worked there, and then I found people with great gifts and skills, and then I gave them opportunity to provide for their families.